once we hit 100 meters per second, give or take. We'll start a little gravity turn. Oh, that's a little bit too much. I'm just going to stabilize that. This is a big rocket. It's not very responsive, and it's very unwieldy in atmosphere. It can just tumble out of control. Just like that. Ah, shit. Alright, that's bad news. I don't think we're going to recover from that. Let's try firing the RCS. Oh, that's no good. Alright. We're going to cut thrust. Let's try and not have this thing crash on the Space Center. I'll try and use the computer to burn prograde. Nah, shit, that ain't working. Okay. So instead, we're going to cut thrust, decouple, stability assist, throttle up, I'm going to go retrograde. Test the lander. That's what we're doing. That's what we meant to do. We're going to test the lander by landing it in the sea. See if we can deploy the landing gear. Nope, that ain't working, and neither are the lights. Cool. Well, it's pretty stable. Let's just oh fuck, that's not good. Alright, that didn't end well. Okay, so yeah, not great. We'll revert to launch. We'll pretend that didn't happen. So we can do it manually. That's fine then. Cool. Alright. Let's try that again, but better. We'll take some positives from this. At least we know the SRB decouplers work properly. Okay. So we can watch our ascent from the map here. Essentially, we're looking for this to exceed about 100,000 meters. Then we'll cut thrust. You can also track this here, so we just watch the apoapsis. Once that hits, decouple the SRBs. We're looking good. Alright, we're going to try that gravity turn again. Oh. A little bit steep. Not an easy rocket to fly. So, we're getting there. Okay, let's cut thrust. We're going to add a maneuver. We're going to burn prograde to establish an orbit around Kerbin. So we're looking for our periapsis to be no less than about 100,000 meters. There we go. That's a fairly nice stable orbit. So down here we can see a countdown and how long we need to burn for to establish an orbit. That probably won't even use up all this fuel here. In fact, no, it won't. So we can see here. So we could do this the exciting way and try and burn manually for our target there, but we're not. We're going to use the computer because this is a big heavy rocket, and if I try and do that, we could end up anywhere. So let's take another look at the map. Here we are. That's where we're maneuvering in about 40 seconds, and that's where we're going. So we're locked on to our maneuver coordinate, and we're just going to max the throttle and burn for 1 minute and 24 seconds. We can see our apoapsis and periapsis here, but we can also monitor from the map if we want. Meanwhile, enjoy the view. Okay, right, we're going to burn. So this will now count me down and let me know when to kill the burn. We're also going to keep an eye on our instruments down here. We can watch how our orbit changes to meet our target orbit here. Then we can start thinking about shooting for the Mun. These boys are just loving it. So at the moment we're still on a collision course with Kerbin, but that's all about to change. Okay. This is where I like to start just throttling down a little bit. So we haven't quite executed the maneuver perfectly. So our apoapsis will be a little bit higher than we want it to be. And our periapsis will probably be a little bit lower. Could get dodgy. We're going to use more fuel than we wanted to, but it's not the end of the world. That's why. Shit. This is going all sorts of wrong. that hasn't gone perfectly, but I think we can still make it. Let's find out. Let's just get rid of those maneuvers. We'll add a new maneuver here, the SPAAAAACE, burn prograde, and we're looking to intercept. We're not really quite in the right plane here, so again, this is going to cost us way more delta V than it would have if I hadn't screwed up that initial orbit burn, which I've done way too many times to screw that up. That's a little bit stupid. Right, there we go. So now we can see that we've got a moon encounter here, and we've got 5 minutes to that maneuver node. To burn for our what we call our translunar injection burn, which essentially sends us down the gravity well, and then we can burn retrograde to be captured in orbit. Hopefully. I'm starting to have doubts. What's going on with the staging here? Let's just take care of that. That's better. I want to be dumping this well before we're in atmosphere. I still think this might burn up, you know. This could be interesting. Right, so I think we can just do a little bit of time travel and speed things up a touch. Alright, still got lights on, let's take a look. So, it's fine, looks like the solar panels are doing their job, keeping the battery charged, keeping our lights on, all of that good stuff. So, here we go. Translunar injection. Shit the bed. Apparently I can't talk and Kerbal at the same time. So again, we're probably going to be spending more delta V than we want to, but as long as we get to where we want to go. So I'm just going to slow it down a touch. Right. So we're going to move our focus a little bit. Just help us get into the correct orbit. Alright, let's kill that maneuver and just see what went wrong there. Fairly healthy dose of ineptitude, I think. Right. That's fine, we can do a small prograde burn a little bit ahead of where we are. In fact, we could probably just do a small prograde burn now and we'd be able to get that orbit we're looking for. Let's just orient to prograde. We'll just, there we go. Small burn, little correction. I guess that's where we want to go. Now, we need to add another maneuver where we burn retrograde. What I'm going to attempt to do, because I don't really want to be sharing my orbit with a fuel tank that might collide with me, I'm going to try to plot an intercept course for the moon. There we go, or a collision course I should say. It's a 41-second burn. That's going to use a lot of fuel, not that we really need it anymore. Alright, let's set this up ahead. Let's do this one properly. So, fuel tank should crash into the moon, we'll adjust our orbit, we will then establish a reasonably stable orbit, and then attempt a descent. So, it's a day in Kerbal time. I don't want to sit here for a day, because all of this does happen in real time if you don't use the warp command. So we are going to warp to this maneuver using the fast forward button, so we can watch all of this happen. So, just over T minus 1 minute, let's check that we have the correct orientation for our burn. Here we go. So this is the fun part. I can see we're a lot closer now. There's Kerbin behind us. Should have done that fast forward from this view, really. Never mind. So, we can watch the orbit change in the map again. So there's our Kerbin orbit. In a second, or I should say in 25 seconds, we will be on a collision course with the moon. That being said, I'm not entirely sure I like the idea. With less much fuel left of colliding with the moon, I think we're going to use this stage just to stabilise the orbit. I think we're going to go for... Oh, let's just burn prograde a little bit. We've gone a bit too far. So ideally that wants to be no less than 20,000 kilometers. That'll do. We'll cut thrust. We can then burn retrograde at the periapsis to bring the apoapsis closer in. So we're going to add a maneuver here. In fact, let's kill the last one because that always does weird stuff. Right. So we'll add a maneuver here. We are going to burn retrograde, and that brings the apoapsis in. In fact, we're going to fine tune this a little bit. So this slider just adjusts how much these, which are the same as these, how much they do when you pull on them. So we're going to turn that right down. I want a fairly stable orbit. So I think, what have we got there? Yeah. Don't know why I'm hovering over it. I should be watching it down here on the dials. Ooh, that's a little too much. Yeah, that's pretty good. Let's go with that. So I think this time we'll stay out here for the fast forward, and off we go. Jebediah Kerman's a complete nutcase. He's happy as long as he's in space. I mean, we could literally be crashing this ship into the moon and he'd still be making that big happy cheesy grin. Right. So let's take a look at our map. Here we are. Closing in our maneuver. So this will be an 18-second retrograde burn to decelerate and stabilize our orbit. to turn a few more lights on if we can. Doesn't make a ton of difference. Main thing is our overall charge isn't going down. Right. Let's roll. So watch the instrument dial here. So we now have an orbit. I'm pretty satisfied with that. So now my manoeuvre is completed. Let's take a look. That looks pretty good to me. Right. I don't really want to be dumping the stage on the dark side of the moon where I can't see what it's doing, so let's warp to the light side. It's probably another thing we should consider for our landing, is that we're going to need to try and plot a landing on the light side. We don't want to be landing on the dark side. So I think we're going to plot a little retrograde burn just to take the periapsis below 20,000. So 1 second burn. Then we're going to dump the stage, and then we're going to burn prograde just to take ourselves over it. So here we go. So separate the stage, go prograde. Go. Probably overcooked it, but we're not going to worry too much about that. So let's take a look at our descent burn. So burn retrograde, and we're going to aim kind of get low, and then we'll sort of take it in manually from there, I think. So just to reiterate, I've never done this before. This is likely to end in a horrible crash, and then we'll have to go back to the drawing board, but let's see what happens. Oh, you know what? I forgot to pack a flag. I'm not going to have anything to stick in the ground. If I do manage to EVA a Kerbal. Right. 0.9 second burn. Keep an eye on our resources up here. I think we're also going to turn on the RCS system. Actually, we won't do that till we're actually really descending. start a very gentle burn now. Go a little bit harder than that. There we go. Right. Ooh, that was a bit much. All right. Well, we have a landing zone. So we need to set ourselves to retrograde. Kill the maneuver. I think we're gonna walk to there. I might cancel that early. Alright. Okay, so I'm going to try and land. So we need to start a deceleration burn. Oh, this is not the time windows. So we really want to slow down. We're not going to land at over 400 meters per second, that's for sure. Right, so we're probably going to come down in this big old crater. Let's turn on the RCS. So that's using a worrying amount of fuel. We still need enough to lift off, get back into Kerbin orbit, and then be able to decelerate. Let's extend the landing gear. Should have taken more fuel. Should have taken more fuel. Alright. Just gonna slow our roll. Oh. Well, I think no matter what happens, these boys are staying here. You know, we're learning things. We're learning things. It's fine. Alright, so keep an eye on the altimeter. We are descending away to... No. I've really got to disable that. Might have overcooked that landing burn. Wouldn't a rescue mission be cool? That might be one for another day. Okay. Less than a kilometre to go. Oh, that looks like a lot more. Oh shit, that's the fuel gone. Come on. Well, the Kerbal has landed. It's not going anywhere. But we're here. So we're going to have to plan a rescue mission to get Jeb and Bob back. By the way, Bob, if you're watching this, he's called Bob by default. I didn't name him after you. So let's do some science. crew report from him? Can we get a crew report from them as well? Yeah, we can. Let's go EVA. An EVA report. We'll keep that. I'm bored again. EVA. Let's get you to do an EVA report as well. We're going to farm as much science as we can. Oh, we can transmit this. Let's transmit it. Oh, apparently we can't. Where did I put my antenna? So that's why I put the relay satellites in, although I think we've got a direct connection to the Space Center, but we can bounce transmissions in the event of this happening. Between Munsat, Curbsat and Space Center. Right, let's try and walk on the moon. Sweet. Well, we know you can get back aboard, so that's no biggie. Oh, we've got a flag. We can plant a flag. Right, let's get far enough away in the event that we can land another ship and then blast it off again. And that's a whole challenge in and of itself. I don't have the technology to bring that many Kerbals to the Mun. Let's take a surface sample. God damn, all this science I'm not gonna be able to reap the benefits from. Stick a flag in. There we go. Our first landing. Just in case we can't get them back, because that was my fairly incompetent use of fuel that resulted in them being stuck here. Let's have an EVA report. Oh, we did an EVA report, didn't we? Alright. Back to the lander. Oops. Let's try that again. Restore our science module. Use the storage module, I think, to damn it. These guys are not the easiest little fellas to control. Oh, how the hell did I do that? I've got a little RCS jetpack. Let's try it with RCS. You can do it. the land as oh, damn it. Okay, well, we might just have to lose that data. Okay. Well, there we are. We're on the moon. And we're staying on the moon.